Hi, welcome to my latest video. Well, in this one, I'm going to show you my new toy. I purchased this home security system, digitally based. It has in it a network video recorder that can connect to my local area network. It also comes with 4 cameras. Now, this particular kit that I bought is from a company called REOLINK. They sell a lot of these different types of systems, and the one I got is the one that has their standard modern NVR, which is their network video recorder. It comes with a installed 2 terabyte hard disk, although it can be upgraded pretty easily to up to 6 terabyte internally and another 6 terabyte externally. And this one comes with pretty high cameras. I didn't go for the absolute highest, but I got the 4K cameras that are 8 megapixels. And I'll show you how all of those work with the NVR. Now I'm going to set it up right here in my studio because I'm not going to show the installation onto my house itself. That would be giving a little bit too much away to the public. You know, maybe I'll show isolated installations in a future video when I put up, let's say, 1 camera. Or maybe when I put this in my rack, and this thing will go into my network rack at some point. I'm going to see if I can adapt to it, some rack ears. If not, I have a spare shelf that I'll put it in there. And when I do that, I actually have a little monitor that I also purchased. This is just under 12 inches, and it's fully high def. And it'll connect directly to the NVR, and I can set it up so I can patch into it through my patch panel in my rack. So the first thing I'll do is I'll open this up and we'll show you what's inside. The other thing, there's no monthly fee for this. That's a big plus. So we're not paying some third party or REOLINK itself to allow us to access it. The NVR automatically supports that. One more thing, stick around a little bit later into the video and I'll show you some important considerations to keep your NVR and your cameras as secure as possible after installation. Let's see what's inside this fancy box. I'll be speeding up through most of this. That's interesting, 2 separate boxes. I think this might be the NVR. Let me start with that one. Well, here's the back of the unit. There are 8 RJ45 connectors for the cameras. These are all power over Ethernet. There's 2 ways of connecting it to the monitor, an HDMI and a VGA. There's an RJ45 for the local area network. This is for the secondary hard drive up to another 6 terabytes through eSATA. And then it's got a connection for audio separately, power. There's a USB on the front, and that'll be for the mouse. There's also one in the back here as well. And that's about it. This second larger box must be all the cameras. We're expecting 4 cameras and some Ethernet cables in here. Let's get it open. These labels are the templates for mounting the cameras. There should be one for each camera here. These are warning labels to warn people off. If that's something you feel like doing, you can put one of these for each camera. Each camera has a little pigtail on it with a connector for the RJ45 power over Ethernet, a reset switch, and an external power if you don't want to use power over Ethernet or you don't have it available. You'd plug a little connector into there, separately sold, of course. Okay, so now this is everything that was in the kit. We have Ethernet cables, we have the 4 cameras, different connectors for and protectors for the cabling primarily of the cameras, mounting screws for wherever you choose to mount those cameras, 2 cables, a mouse, and instructions. Let's hook it up and see how it works. Okay, opening the box and taking all the parts out was pretty straightforward. I'm now going to try to show you the actual experience of opening this thing up, plugging it in, connecting it to a monitor and all of the cameras, and seeing what happens. I have 4 cameras set up in this room. Not sure if you can see any of them, but there's one right up here on top here. That's one of the 4 cameras, and there's 3 others in different corners of the room. So I'll go ahead and have those hopefully connect as soon as I configure the initial configuration, but I will walk through the connection and we'll experience that together. Okay, I've got it all hooked up here on the table. Got the 4 cameras laid out in my room here. I got the HDMI cable connected. I got the network cable connected. I got the mouse connected. I think we're good. So let me try turning this thing on and see what we get. Here it's starting up. Oh, there we go, REOLINK. Okay, here we go. Can't seem to be able to change any of this stuff. Oh, this one changes. I can change that to 12 or 24. The other ones I can't change. So I'll change it to 12 hour. That's strange. Oh, I had to click it and then went to next. It's very slow. Looks like the hard disk is already formatted, but I could format it again if I wanted to. A little surprising. In the instructions, it looked like it was going to prompt me to format it. The device name, I'll change it to... let me just move on. I won't reformat it. I do not want DHCP. I want static. That looks good. This is the email. I'll save that for later. And there we are. I see 4 cameras. Let me move this down. Looks like it's upside down though, huh? So it's gotta flip the cameras because of the way I have them oriented, huh? I could change the names to it, but I'll leave it that way for now. Okay, there we go. I had to go into the display settings and then pick flip display. That's good. So now that one's right. Well, looks like they all have the name camera 1. Let me flip them all first. Let me go ahead and set this one up for what I plan on that one being. I'd like that one to be camera 2. Okay, I'll leave that setting for now. This one I'll leave as camera 1. I'm already set right on that one. And that's the one back over here, right? No, that's the wrong one. That's actually that one over here, right? Yeah, that one's over here. That's actually camera 4. Without a keyboard, this is pretty hard. They should have the option for a keyboard on here. Can we move these around? If I grab this and can I go over to there? Okay, that works. Camera 1 is back over there. Camera 2 is that one over there. This should be camera 3, which is over my head, so I gotta move this one up. Okay. Can I put this one here? Yeah, I can. That might be better. That way I can see the orientation. Oh, make me the center. How's that? That'll be good. I'll make this 1. I'll make this 2. I'll make this 3. And I'll make that 4. Right? Back here. Back here is number 4. Yep. So the cameras are basically set up. As I showed before, if you want to see one better, you click on it and see full screen. So here's camera 1 over there, and I can see myself full screen on it. I assume I can zoom here, right? Let's see. Display. Image settings, brightness, contrast, saturation, what's advanced, exposures, all kinds of stuff. Wow, it's got a lot of features there. Got a little bit of a fisheye to it, these cameras. That's what I see here. That's a straight wall, not fisheyed like that. Sound, I don't have audio turned on, so if I turn that on, am I not recording? Oh, now I'm recording. It looks like you gotta turn the cameras into record mode. Oh yeah, it looks like you have to turn the cameras into record mode. Okay, that's interesting to know. Only 2 cameras are recording then. 2. Looks like this guy is having trouble with the color up there. That's camera number 3. But I'll still put it in record mode so we can get a look at it. I'm just taking a picture of the ceiling right now. Okay, so it just takes some getting used to with this menu system. That's what it is. There it is. You can do it right from here too. Okay, pick number 1 again. Let's see. Zoom. Oh, it can zoom, can it? But I understand that that's just a digital zoom. It's not optical. These cameras are fixed in terms of optical. Exit. Okay. Oh, I see. It doesn't keep the zoom. You can only zoom individually for a while. Interesting. Well, that was a bit challenging, to say the least, okay? It turns out, this mouse that came with the kit, something's wrong with it. For my first few minutes trying to do the initial configuration, this thing either wasn't clicking or just had a big delay. I'm not sure what was going on. But once I replaced the mouse with one that I already had that I knew was a trusted mouse, it worked fine. Also, it didn't seem to matter whether I plugged the mouse into the front or the back. Also, as you can see, it's pretty challenging without a keyboard. And I'm going to look through and see if there's any way of configuring a keyboard to this, but I doubt it. Even though it has 2 USB ports, I don't think it'll probably support that. But I'll see. If I find that, I'll do an update in the notes below. So now let's cover a couple of important security things I wanted to talk about. Okay, so what I have here is the DVR and one of the cameras. And there's a security thing I want to tell you about on each one of them. First of all, not sure if you noticed I had certain parts of the earlier end of this video blurred out a little bit. Well, that's because there is an important thing here that I have underneath this tape. And what I did to prevent it from winding up on camera is I put a little piece of paper with some black tape to seal it. I'm only going to partially show that here because if I go all the way over to the right, right about here, there's a QR code, and that's a QR code that you use if you're going to enable the remote access using a smartphone. And that code is how the app that you download onto this gets enabled to this particular NVR. Now the camera. You notice something here? They do give you, by the way, just to let you know, they do give you some kits. And these kits are these pieces here, these 4 pieces, in order to prevent water from getting in there. So I highly suggest you do that. Be careful though, this little thing here, you have to really pull it apart to get where they cut it, because they have a cut in it right in one part only, and that is meant to go around the cable and allow you to properly encase the entire thing. And then you use these other objects and you put them together. I won't go through it in detail here, but the idea here is that you want to be able to seal in the water into this particular one, right? I think I may have it the wrong way. It's also got a little washer, a little rubber plastic washer. So you got to put that in there, and then there's a cap here, and this one screws onto it. I won't do it now because it's kind of hard to set up and then get apart again, but that's what that's for. Now that's only protection against the element. You better be ready for protection against somebody deciding to swipe this camera. They're not cheap, right? Now the installation of the camera really requires only that you push the camera down and you turn the base, and this little plastic part comes off. Well, there's nothing that attaches really other than unscrewing the camera to the base. So what I suggest you do, if you can make a hole big enough, this actually unwraps here, and you can get this entire pigtail of wires into your house through here, so that people can't futz with this. You don't want people disconnecting these or whatever, and you definitely don't want to try cutting them. You definitely need the reset switch, and if you tried to cut the power one, I mean, unless you know what you're doing in terms of clearly insulating this from the weather, I would suggest you don't try to do that. Now, if you are unable to utilize a big enough hole to do that, and you have to route this thing along the outside, of your house or whatever, I do suggest that you get yourself some nice waterproof tape and seal all of this off, including this part here. Just wrap the tape. Try to get like 2-inch tape and wrap it all around to seal this all off the best you can. And then when you put it, if it's on the outside, this will help you with water as well. I suggest after you mount this to the building, you get yourself some silicone sealant and you give it a big dab of it all the way around here. And then you take this and you do that before you push it back in place. What does that do for you? Well, that will allow you that you'll see it squishing out of the sides as well. It not only will help protect from the weather a little bit, but once you've locked it in place, the silicone sealant will lock that in pretty tightly. Now, it won't make it permanent. I don't suggest you do that, but it will take some amount of effort to get this thing back off again in order to break the seal of the silicone sealant. So that's highly recommended from my perspective, and you won't find this in the manual, in order to protect this camera from theft itself, right? Well, hopefully you got something out of those hints on security. I mean, one involving the DVR itself, and one that wasn't that obvious to me, clearly not mentioned in the manual. That's something you should look out for. Or the issue with the cameras and how to make sure that they're properly secured outdoors, or at least, make it a better security than you would normally have. So that pretty much concludes this video. Hopefully you got something out of it. And if you did, you know what to do, right?